Wanna play hide and clap?
Think you know the Conjuring verse? Think again. The films you love, from Annabelle to The Nun, are hiding some seriously bizarre secrets. Today, we are not just going to tell you about them, we're going to bring you cursed artifacts, spooky on-set mishaps, and other crazy real-life stories that hold more horror than the one you saw on screen. One fact ties The Conjuring to a completely different 90s slasher. So grab your popcorn, maybe keep the lights on, and let's jump into the haunted madness of the Conjuring universe. Just, don't blame us if something moves in the corner of your room after watching this. Did you know that the movies are based on the actual investigations of a real couple? Yes, Ed and Lorraine Warren were a real-life duo of paranormal investigators who not only investigated these hauntings, but also established the Warrens Occult Museum in Monroe, Connecticut, which was a collection of various haunted objects and artifacts they had managed to gather in the course of their travels. It has since been closed. Did you know that the real house that the Conjuring movie is based on is located in Rhode Island, but the movie was shot in North Carolina? Did you know that The Conjuring has a hidden connection with I Know What You Did Last Summer? Both the movies were filmed in the same house in Wilmington, North Carolina. Did you know that the character of Bathsheba Sherman, the Satan worshiper, baby murdering witch, was based on a real person who lived in 19th century Rhode Island and apparently had no ties to witchcraft or Satan worship whatsoever? Another interesting thing about Bathsheba is that the character was played by the movie's composer, Joseph Bishara. In fact, Bishara often plays creature roles in the movie he is involved in musically. He also played demonic creatures in Annabelle and Conjuring 2. So dumb, it's perfect. Hour 7. Link on screen. Did you know that the producers had wanted The Conjuring to be given a PG-13 rating, but the MPAA deemed it too scary to be PG-13 and it was given an R rating. In fact, there were theaters where police were posted at entrances in order to make sure no one under 18 sneaked in without a parent or a guardian with them. Police weren't the only people protecting screenings. Did you know that some filmgoers felt so disturbed after seeing the movie that priests were hired to bless the audience before the showings? Did you know that even the sets of several of the movies in the Conjuring universe were blessed by priests to ward off evil before starting filming? Daily horror news and lists at likehorror.com. Did you know that the real Annabelle doll that the movie is based upon is actually a Raggedy Ann doll, not the creepy looking porcelain doll in the movie? The doll was given to a nursing student, Donna, by her mother in 1970. Gradually, Donna began to notice the doll making small arm movements and relocating on its own whenever Donna was out. A psychic was consulted and told Donna that the doll was possessed by the spirit of a 6-year-old girl named Annabelle. But eventually, the behavior of the doll became more malicious. And that is when the Warrens were consulted and they claimed that the doll was in fact possessed by a demon. They were given the doll by Donna and took it to place it in their occult museum. According to Ed Warren, the journey was a difficult one, as apparently the doll kept causing them car trouble and had to be doused multiple times with holy water to keep it in check. According to a lecture that Ed gave at Rutgers University in 1987, a priest who belittled the doll later died in a car accident, and a homicide detective was forced to retire early after the doll psychically stabbed him. Another incident is told of a man who touched the doll and was later involved in a motorcycle accident and passed away while his girlfriend was severely injured. Yeesh. You're never catching me playing with this Raggedy Ann doll, no siree. Did you know that Patrick Wilson and Vera Farmiga, who play Ed and Lorraine Warren, spent 3 days with the real Ed and Lorraine before they started shooting in order to learn their speech and mannerisms? Fun fact, the real Lorraine also has a small cameo in the movie. Did you know that The Conjuring had been in the works for 20 years, ever since producer Tony DeRosa Grund was playing the tape of Lorraine's original interview with Carolyn Perron by her husband Ed? The movie was shelved multiple times until De Rosa-Grund was finally able to strike a deal with New Line Cinema in 2009. Did you know that the movie originally had a different name? It was called the Untitled Warren Files Project and later the Warren Files, before these names were scrapped and it was given the title The Conjuring. Did you know that initially De Rosa-Grund intended that the story of The Conjuring be told from the point of view of the Perron family, the original family that lived in the haunted house? But when the sibling duo Carrie and Chad Hayes were hired to work on the screenplay, they shifted focus to Ed and Lorraine Warren. The movie went on to become a smashing success, grossing over $300 million on a modest budget of $20 million. Inspiring a spin-off and a sequel so clearly that turned out to be a pretty good idea. Did you know that from the very start, The Conjuring was apparently plagued with sinister happenings? There was distortion and static in the phones while consulting with Lorraine, who claimed it was evil spirits trying to interfere with their work. Another incident was when James Wan's dog got upset and started barking at an empty corner one night while Wan was working on the screenplay for the movie. Spooky, right? Another strange incident happened with Vera Farmiga. After she had signed on to the movie, she woke up the next day to find 3 large scratches on her laptop. Later on during the shooting, she found similar 3 bloody scratches on her thigh with no idea where they came from. The sets of the Conjuring Universe movies were in fact plagued with such incidents and unexplained injuries, which would appear on set and mysteriously disappear once the production concluded. Joey King, who was playing Christine Perron, developed bruises and a strange blood disorder, which cleared up once the shooting was complete. McKenna Grace, who plays Judy Warren in Annabelle Comes Home, reported waking up with a small triangular-shaped cut near her hairline. But the spookier thing that caused them to actually get a priest to bless the set was when one day, during the first few days of the shooting, Grace's nose began to bleed profusely on the set. And as soon as she stepped outside the set to go to the restroom, the bleeding stopped. You know what was even creepier? The stars report that the Annabelle prop doll kept changing places and relocating much like the real Annabelle doll. Other strange happenings on the set include objects flying off the shelves, curtains moving on their own despite there being no air conditioning, a piano bench moving by itself, and unexplained sounds of construction coming from beneath the set, even though it was empty. Several members of the cast, including Vera Farmiga, reported waking up between 3 and 4 a.m., aka the devil's hour. Even years later, Farmiga reported waking up at 3:07 a.m. at night, despite setting no alarms. Many actors felt like they were being watched when they were on set. When the real Perron family visited the set of The Conjuring, they reported feeling a sinister presence and a strong cold breeze, even though no trees were moving. Yikes, I'm getting goosebumps just from thinking about it. Did you know that the enormous tree shown in The Conjuring was not a part of the actual story and was not real? It was James Wan's idea given life by the production team. Did you know that the owners of the real haunted house in Rhode Island sued Warner Brothers for monetary damages and a new security system? Because after the success of the movie, they began to regularly get fans and occultists as trespassers on their property. Once their lawsuit was dismissed, they used the success of the movie by making the house a tourist attraction and began selling tickets for investigation tours of the house. If you can't beat them, join them, am I right? Did you know that one of the tracks featured in The Conjuring was sung by none other than the Ryan Gosling? He co-founded the indie duo Dead Man's Bones with Zach Shields and sings In the Room Where You Sleep for the movie. Did you know that the demonic nun that has since become one of the faces of the franchise and a whole other spin-off was not the initial antagonist of Conjuring 2? It was supposed to be a horned demon, but just 3 months before the release of the movie in March 2016, James Wan came up with the idea of using a demonic nun instead. It was changed, and the rest, as they say, is history. Did you know that Conjuring 2 was based on another one of Ed and Lorraine's real cases? The Enfield haunting, which has also inspired other movies. It's interesting to note that while the Warrens in their book report to be involved with the Enfield case for a couple of months, the British parapsychologist Guy Leon Playfair wrote in his book that they were barely there for 2 days. In fact, the real Janet Hodgson believes it was a priest visit that calmed down the haunting, not the Warrens. Did you know that the shot where Janet Hodgson is levitating on the ceiling was actually filmed on the floor with an inverted setup? Did you know that throughout the movie, the demon's name, Valak, is hinted at repeatedly in the background? For example, it's spelled in colorful bangles hanging at the window during the scene at the table where Lorraine sees the painting made by Ed. It's spelled in the bracelet which their daughter is making. It's spelled on the bookcase when Lorraine sleeps and the daughter is playing. Similarly, the demon's name is camouflaged in the background in several scenes from The Nun, like a license plate number and the bars of the abandoned playground seesaw spell Valak. Did you know that much like Bathsheba, the crooked man is also not CGI but played by an actual actor, Javier Botet? It's Botet's amazing body movements, very much like a stop-motion puppet, which give it an illusion of CGI. Similarly, the character of our favorite demon nun is also not CGI but played by the talented Bonnie Aarons, who reprises her role in both The Nun and The Nun 2. Did you know that the tomb room set in The Nun has several face masks, which were cast from the faces of actual cast members? Some examples being the director Corin Hardy, the screenwriter Gary Dauberman, and the executive producer Michael Clear. Did you know that during the production of The Nun, so much black fabric was used to create the nun's habits that the factory which was providing the fabric in Romania literally ran out of material? Did you know that the role of Sister Irene in The Nun is played by Thaisa Farmiga, who is Vera Farmiga's sister? The characters are not directly related to each other so far, but who knows what might happen in future movies. Did you know that Vera Farmiga had to reshoot the final scene of Conjuring 2, where she remembers Valak's name so many times that it damaged her throat and made her voice hoarse? And finally, one of the most interesting facts is that both Malthus from Annabelle and Valak from Conjuring 2 and The Nun are inspired by and based on demons described in the occult book, The Lesser Key of Solomon. Valak is based on Valak and Malthus is based on Malthus, a demon who is a great president of hell. And there you have it, some of the creepiest, quirkiest, and downright bizarre facts from the Conjuring universe. These movies aren't just scaring you on screen, they're just as creepy behind the scenes as well. Think we missed out a fact? Let us know and don't forget to keep the lights on.